Hello everyone, my name is June Simpson, and as you can tell I've been on a little bit of a break, mainly to find some inspiration for some new videos, and find some albums that I feel are worth doing a review on, and I think I've found one. One of my all-time favourite hip-hop albums, Food by MF Doom. I recently got into MF Doom and I've loved everything I've heard by him. This is one of the only ones I have by him, and I'll do the other one some other time, but so far this is my favourite by him, and just, I love everything about Doom's music, so I'm wanting to do a little album review of him. So, start off, I love how beautifully vibrant all the colours are on this, and how cartoony it's drawn. As you could probably tell by himself, Doom took his name from the Marvel character Dr. Von Doom, and you can hear a lot of samples from cartoons and comics and whatnot in his music all the time. The colours totally stand out, and I love the sort of graffiti style behind it. You could look at it for ages and never find anything the same. Same thing with the back. I love all the art on it, and just all of his artworks are amazing. They're all instantly iconic from the minute you look at them. And also, we have some coloured discs. Since this is a double LP, the first disc is this quite dark greenish colour, and the second disc is this gorgeous pink. Really beautiful stuff. And also, it's a gatefold. You open it up and it looks like this, again with the beautiful colours and the cartoonish style. So, now on to the track list. Side A has Beef Wrap, Whole Cakes and Potholders. Side B has One Beer, Deep Fried Friends, Poop Up Platter, Filet-O-Rapper and Gumbo. Side C has Fig Leaf Bicarbonate, Con Carne and Guinnesses. And finally, side D has Con Queso, Rap Snitch Knishes, Vomit Spit and Cookies. As you could probably tell by all the names of this, and by the name of the album itself, this is a concept album where all the songs have something to do with food. That's just totally something you wouldn't expect, which is what I always love about Doom's music. We would love to see him live. So, let's just get ready for the review. Right? So, we start the album off with Beef Wrap. This is one of my all-time favourite MF Doom songs. The first couple minutes or so is nothing but samples over a quite unsettling beat. Just sets an awesome setting point for the album, because the whole album has nothing but samples non-stop. It's one of my favourite things about Doom's music. And there's an amazing video by a song I can't remember about where all the samples from the album comes from. I'll put that in the description and or the comment section, so give them some love if you can. Anyway, Beef Wrap. That's a brilliant double meaning. Obviously the whole album's about food, which is a beef rap, but it's also about rappers beefing with each other, causing controversy and whatnot. Beef Wrap, getting ready to get your teeth capped, whatnot. And Doom's voice just has an amazing presence. It's just so powerful yet chilled out in a way. Like, you can hear his emotion in just everything he raps. It's just awesome. Next up is another one of my highlights, Whole Cakes. This is one of his most iconic songs, and it starts off with a really cool sort of beatboxing beat. And I love the instrumental is one of my favourite parts of this song. It's just absolutely amazing, and just the flows of the rhymes are just so interesting. I remember hearing that Doom had a few books that he wrote all of his rhymes in to help him come up with stuff. Turns out, about a year or so after he died in 2020, I think record executive stole them from him. Absolute shame. I hope we can get them back one day, but Yeah. Anyway, Whole Cakes has another one of my favourite samples. After the little instrumental break, there's a little like bluesy solo with a sampler of Dr. Von Doom from the Marvel comics, so for it, just so interesting to listen to. And also the like jazzy blues instrumental behind it's amazing. And the last track on side A is Potholders. This is actually featuring another freestyle rapper, Count Bass D. And the dynamic between Count Bass D and Doom is just absolutely amazing on this song. This has one of my favourite beats of the whole album. It's just so laid back but also devastating. And also it has some of my favourite lyrics in the whole album. Like, that's another thing about Doom. All the humour in his music reminds me a lot of early Slim Shady from Eminem, obviously. Yeah, and his voice has always reminded me of Easy from AWA. And let's get back to Potholders. Absolutely incredible track. Maybe my favourite off side A. It's just, this album is so easy to just turn on and listen to in the background, but it's also just so technical and complicated as well. It's hard to describe. And with that, we end side A. We start off side B with one of his most popular songs, One Beer. This is an amazing track, and I love his voice in it. I know I keep saying that, but it's true. His voice is definitely the highlight of the album alongside the samples. One Beer is a really cool song. I love all the samples near the end, but also the actual instrumentals are amazing. While not one of my personal favourites, I still love it dearly. Next up is the longest track on the album, Deep Fried Friends. This is a great track, another one of my favourite instrumentals of the album. The point of the song is talking about having friends in your life that aren't good for you, deep fried friends. Really clever stuff that he does. Anyway, even though it's his longest track, I don't feel like it's repetitive, even though it's a repeat beat. It really works for his kind of music. Next up is a little skit, Poop Up Platter. I don't know why, but this has always been one of my favourites. I think it's all just samples from cartoons, but it's so chilled out and it works so well with the album. Like this, I don't know why, but this is a track I always go back on. It's just really nice and funky. It's just,
nothing comes between me and
I don't know. Even though it's only like 2 minutes long, I always go back to this track whenever I need to chill out. Next up is Filet Rapper. This is one of my favourite tracks. It's very... It kind of reminds me of Deep Fried Friends on how just chilled out and repetitive the beat is, but yeah, always love this track. I've listened to this album quite a few times within the past couple of months, but there are certain tracks I always go back on. Beef Rap, Whole Cakes, Poop Up Platter, etc. And the final track on side B is Gumbo. This is the shortest track on the album. It's only about 47 seconds long. The main part of the song is actually a sample from a Frank Zappa song. I've always loved Frank Zappa, and I see why he actually used this in the album. I love just the whole concept of the album, all about food, just totally interesting. And that ends side B and also ends the first disc. The second disc starts off with side C, which begins with Fig Leaf Bicarbonate. Another thing that Doom took a lot of samples from in this album was the Electric Company, an old 60s show, yeah, around that. And it works really well because all the stuff he took from them mainly is about food, which obviously makes sense for the album. Fig Leaf Bicarbonate is one of the most interesting songs on the album. I don't really, it's hard to explain, but it's one of the most experimental, interesting, just complex in the album. It uses just so many weird samples, it's amazing. Next up is one of the darker ones in my opinion, Con Carne. It's just, this track is just so kind of slow, dark. Depends on where you are when you listen to it, to be honest. It's really, that's the thing about Doom, it's just, he's a genius in my opinion. His music's so hard to explain, but it can only do justice by you listening to the album yourself. Next up is the last track on side C, Guinnesses. This is one of the slower tracks and always been one of my favourites. This track has another guest vocalist, Angelica. She does an amazing lead vocal on this track. Pardon me. Anyway, Angelica's vocals are just beautiful and they work so well for the slowness of this track. Doom only shows up for the chorus if I remember right, and again I love how slow this track is. And also for like the first 30 seconds or something, it's only samples, much like the beginning of Beef Rap. Just so interesting what Doom does with his music. I love a lot of his albums, but this one has a special place in my heart, probably because it was the first one I listened to, but still. And with Guinness's ending, that ends side C. Side D opens up with Con Queso, one of the more faster, energetic tracks. Side D is probably the side that I go to most, either that or side A. Con Queso, as I said, is really fast paced sort of, and kind of more aggressive than the rest of the album. But my favourite part of the whole song is the very ending. It has another sample from a Dr. Doom cartoon, and it has a sample in it that's been repeated throughout the whole album. Doom is master of the world. That's one of the best things about this album, all the repeating samples, kind of like things that bring you back, that you can focus on, if you know what I mean. Really weird, but it's awesome at the same time. Next up is the most famous song from the album, Rap Snitch Knishes. The guitar riff from this album's been quite popular recently, and with this song there's another guest vocalist, Mr. Fantastic. Amazing dueling vocals with him and Doom. To be honest, this has always been one of my least favourites of the album. Like, of course, there's not a bad song on the album. I love every song, no matter how short or long or complicated or simple they are, but yeah, I just prefer the other songs. But Rap Snitch Knishes is another amazing track. Next up is probably my favourite Doom song, Vomit Spit. In my opinion, this is a perfect Doom song. Just the rhymes and the flows are perfect, the humour is on point, the samples are good, just, in my opinion, it's one of his funniest songs, and just, it's really interesting how he does that. Like, his flows and rhymes are just so weird and complicated. Definitely give this one a listen, amazing track. And our final track, Cookies, is up next. This is another shorter one. Depending on which version of the album you're listening to, you'll get two different variations of Cookies. On the original 2004 pressing, the song is totally different. The only thing that's the same are like the lyrics. This is because the main sample and riff for the original was taken from The Muppet Show or Sesame Street or whatever it is. Either or, it caused, I believe, copyright issues, so it had to be changed for all the future releases. While I personally prefer that version, I do really like the simplistic version of Cookies that's on all the other releases. The bass is absolutely amazing in the release, love it so much. But do yourself a favour and listen to the original version as well. Amazing track. And with that being over, we end the album. Overall, I can't praise this album enough. It's just so weird and experimental. As I've said before, it's easy to just turn on in the background and let it play, but it's also just so complicated and mysterious. It has such amazing humour, it's unbelievable, and I'm at a loss for words. Definitely do yourself a favour and listen to this album. Now for my top 3 picks. My 3 favourite songs: Vomit Spit, Cookies and Oat Cakes. That's really hard. I could have picked so many more, like Guinnesses, Potholders, Deep Fried Friends, Beef Rap. That's the thing about Doom's music, he doesn't really have a bad many songs, just all his songs are absolutely amazing. With that, thank you so much for listening, and thanks so much for watching as well. See you guys next time, bye!
If anyone can do it. Nevertheless, let's get out of here while we can. Food. We need food.